You are now listening to The Box Out with Kahlil Thomas and Jason Courtney on the One Podcast Network. Let's get it.
From NJ to BK and the world, it's The Box Out here on One Podcast Network. My name is Kahlil Thomas. Joining me in a few minutes will be Jason Courtney from Brooklyn, New York. Thank you so much for watching, whether it be live right now on a Monday night or if you're watching the replay, preferably before the NBA Finals. Thanks so much for giving us your time. I appreciate you. Listen, first thing we got to talk about, obviously, is the NBA Finals that starts on Wednesday night. Knicks, they got the Spurs. Spurs outlasted. It's like a bug, like a fluffy thing in my head. Spurs outlasted the Thunder in a game 7 on Saturday. So now we have a rematch of the last time the Knicks went to the finals in 1999, Spurs versus Knicks. David Robinson, Tim Duncan, they ain't here. Sean Elliott is not here. Vinny Del Negro is not here. A whole different cast of characters for the New York Knicks and San Antonio Spurs. So going into the last couple games of the Spurs Thunder series, it was rough to kind of see who we wanted. And by we, I mean the Knicks, because, I'm a fan. I'm not going to sit here and bullshit you. I'm a fan no matter what. It was hard to determine who I wanted the Knicks to go against because I feel like both teams present different trouble for New York. I feel like for OKC, death was their thing. I feel like they were so deep where it would become a problem pretty much facing up with 12 guys. Because OKC was completely capable of playing 12, 13 players in the game. Now, obviously, they had injuries across the board, so that depth kind of disappeared as the playoffs went on. So that was my biggest issue. It wasn't SGA, it wasn't anything else. It was the OKC is a deep team, Pauls, as Dame Dasher said. For San Antonio, my big issue was obviously Victor Wembanyama becomes the main story, becomes the main issue if you're talking about the San Antonio Spurs. He's a 7'4" guy who can step out and hit a three, who can block shots, who can rebound. That's a scary concept, all right? You had guys like Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle playing way above where they should be at in their careers early on in these playoffs. I think the last couple of games of the OKC series, they kind of faded away. Still had good games, but they weren't as prevalent as they were early in the OKC series and throughout the playoffs. And then you have guys like De'Aaron Fox in a team that can light it up. I know he became more of a point guard for San Antonio because San Antonio doesn't have a point guard really except De'Aaron Fox. So De'Aaron Fox kind of became less of a scorer than what he was in Sacramento and more of a point guard in San Antonio. You have Harrison Barnes who has rings. So you have one guy in that really young, hungry team with a little bit of experience, which is also a scary concept because, Jason and I has always said it every trade deadline. And I think the big team he talked about this with was Memphis. How Memphis didn't have that adult in the room. Memphis did not have that grown-up kind of rounding everybody up saying, get it together. Harrison Barnes on that team, San Antonio, is that grown-up in the room with a Wemby, with a Castle, with a Harper, and kind of getting the guys together. So, both OKC and San Antonio presented different problems for the Knicks. Deep down, I'm happy the Knicks got San Antonio, and here's why, and I'm going to let Jason explain this too when he comes on. Yes, the Knicks as a squad has not made it this far in 27 years. However, OG has a ring. Now, OG was a huge contributor to that ring that Toronto got with Kawhi Leonard and Kyle Lowry. You have Brunson, you have Hart, you have Bridges, who played in the national championship teams in Villanova. So you have 3 players who played together in college who won a national championship who are used to big games. Against a team that, even though what I just said about Harrison Barnes being the adult in the room, he's still a young team who just went through a war with their rival in the Western Conference in OKC. So the question becomes, can this young team who kind of came off of this crazy series against a team that going forward for the next few years they're going to be neck and neck. OKC and San Antonio are going to be in the same sentence, not just winning the Western Conference, but also winning a championship. Can this young team recover from that series? If you looked at the end of Game 7 and looked at San Antonio, they looked exhausted. San Antonio looked tired. Now, this is not the Eastern Conference Finals. This is not the Eastern Conference Semifinals when literally Game 7, you had a day off, and the next series started. For San Antonio, they get Sunday, they get Monday, they get Tuesday off. They get 3 days off to recover. They have home court, so the opening game on Wednesday night is going to be in San Antonio at their home. So it's going to be a benefit to them. But my question is, deep down, how are they going to kind of react to being in that tough war against OKC? Because I welcome Jason Cortner. What's up, Jay?
Not much. How you feeling?
I'm cautiously optimistic.
Okay.
I talked about both things that scared me about OKC and San Antonio, and I'm happy. And I'm actually kind of happy we got San Antonio because of the youth. How do you feel about the matchup with San Antonio and the Knicks?
I think it's a really good matchup outside of the Wemby, but no one really has an answer for Wemby. I think our wing stops are going to be they're going to be showcased in the finals, where I think they can slow Harper, they can slow Castle, they can slow all their guards. So I think it's going to be a lot of emphasis for Wemby to be aggressive, which could backfire because I think OG could do a great job on Wemby. I think Cat, he could do a so-so job. I'm not saying he's going to do a great job, but he could slow it down a little bit. If Mitch is not 100%, then you're going to have to call the guys on the bench to step up. But I think the Knicks have enough bodies to, body blow Wemby a little bit.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how they play Wemby. Like you said, I think you have Bridges. I think you have Hart that could probably go out and guard Castle, guard Harper. I'm not sure how Cat is going to do against a Wemby. I'm not sure how that match is going to go. But we have to talk about Mitchell Robinson. Broken pinky. He had surgery. He's going to play. How does that affect not just him, but how does that affect the series, especially with how important Mitch was throughout the playoffs so far?
I think it'll affect it in terms of maybe, we can't really emphasize him, expect him to be an offensive rebounding juggernaut that he normally is. I think that might slow it down a little bit. We got to see the first couple of minutes while he plays, what kind of, how that hand lingers with the pinky. I mean, he doesn't shoot. It doesn't matter if it was on a shooting hand or not. So that's not really a factor. I don't think we're going to see him. I don't think we're going to see the Mitch and Towns lineup too much in this series because of that.
Yeah, I know Mike Brown never really liked playing Mitch
Both
and
of them
Cat at the same time. And I thought you saw it sporadically, but I think it was more of like a need. He kind of had no choice. I'm curious. I want to go back to OKC real quick. And a lot has been talked about with Chet Holmgren and how he
no show
essentially just disappeared in the San Antonio series.
He looked like Ben Simmons out there.
Well, here's my thing: was too much put on Chet Holmgren? Because coming out of college, I never saw Chet Holmgren as, oh my God, he's like the number 2 to SGA. And all of a sudden, when Jalen Williams went down, he became the number 2. And I'm like, you sure about this?
He's not number 2, yeah. I think it's two things. I think, one, I think Wemby was gunning for him since the Olympics.
He really was.
he was gunning for him the way Brunson was gunning for Harden. I mean, it was just bad. I think between that and him not really being established as a number 2 for OKC, especially when you have Mitchell and them other guys step up, and Chef kind of was low key just chilling in the back, getting his rebounds, trying to act like he's Wemby when he's not. So I think those two things exposed him. While I watched Game 7 down the stretch, I was like, we found our suitor for Giannis. They will move heavens and earth to try to get Giannis and move Chef.
So I want to bring this up because I'm curious about the draft picks, because I feel like for Giannis to be traded, it's going to require not Chet, not just Chet. but it's going to be a haul. Do you think it will take? How many draft picks do you think it's going to take to get him? That's my question now.
It'll probably take 4 and 2 solid role players. You might have to find a third team if you want to move off a Chet.
So
because the thing is they don't want to they don't want to hit the second apron, which I think they're going to hit next summer because they got to pay these guys.
Yeah, I mean, you pay SGA's eligible for a max deal, and if not next year, the year after,
right?
Which can be ridiculous because he's an MVP. So it could be we talk about like a $70-80 million a year contract for SGA.
Yep.
On top of paying Jalen Williams and paying Caruso, and do you pay Lou Dort? Like there's a lot of guys in that team that like could get paid and are going to get paid way over value. I think elsewhere. So OKC has 3 picks. I don't think they have their own pick. Is it Philly's pick?
I think it's Philly's,
Utah's,
and maybe the Clippers.
No, they're not the Clippers. Okay, no, in 2027 they're the Clippers.
Okay.
They could pick swap. They could pick swap OKC and LA's pick or Denver's pick. This is confusing as hell. Jesus Christ. Okay, the main gist of it, they have 3 first-round picks this year, 3 first-round picks next year, first-round pick 2028. They have 2 in 2029 and a shit ton of second-round picks.
Sounds like if they really want Giannis, they probably have to come up 6 of those. They probably got to come up those 2 years back-to-back 6 picks total, right?
I'm trying to think. Something seemed off because I don't think this accounts for the draft shit, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, because I still don't understand this 3-2-1 shit that the NBA passed last week. I've been looking into it and trying to do research on the draft lottery shit, and I still don't understand what the hell that means. So I'm going to try to kind of run with that. Bruce, what's going on? Oh, here we go. Cardio Chet not only needs a burger, but also needs a urologist who eats something English and French. You really, I enjoy when Bruce pops on. So we have San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything besides Wemby? Because I know obviously Wemby would be the one scary thing that we all care about. Is there anything else besides Victor Wembanyama about this team that scares you? Because for me, there ain't a lot that's like, oh my God, like I'm not seeing this thing of like they're a team.
No. And I look at Wemby and I think about all the greats that's entered the game. I think about Jordan. I think about Kobe, Shaq, outside of Magic. These guys don't progress they don't reach the finals this fast. And I feel like Wemby's got to get his lumps just like Jordan did, just like Shaq and Kobe did, just like LeBron did. So I think this is probably the worst that team's going to look. Because I feel like as they get better, they're going to get better as they play more together. So with that said, I have a date in mind for you.
Okay.
You ready for the date?
Okay.
June 16th, 2026. Do you know what happened on that day?
June 16th?
Coming up. Yep.
No.
That'll be projected game number 6 of the finals. It also happens to be the one appearance that the France team plays at MetLife in the World Cup. Wemby can't be at both. I have a feeling he's going to be at the World Cup because I think this series is going to be over in 5.
Damn, I haven't actually remember this shit yet. Damn, you already throwing it out there. Holy shit.
I just don't. If the Spurs do not win game 1, I'm definitely standing 10 toes down on 5 games.
So here's the projected lineups for game 1, and obviously projected, so it could change.
Mm-hmm.
De'Aaron Fox at point guard, Castle shooting guard, Champagny at small forward, Vassell at power forward, Wembanyama at center, Harper based on his projected lineup, isn't starting. Coming off the bench, which I think is really good because the Spurs bench is not that strong. So I think that might be a good call to keep Harper on the bench because they have a weak bench. Obviously, Knicks lineup: Brunson, Bridges, OG, Hart, and Cat. Obviously, Mitchell will be playing, but we don't know what's going to affect. Like, I keep mentioning his name, and I know it seems like this thing I keep bringing up, and I think in this series can be very important. We did sign Jeremy Sochan from San Antonio early this year.
Who's eligible for a ring no matter who wins the series, by the way.
So I'm curious on, obviously he's not like giving inside information because they probably changed up all the shit, but has someone that played with the team, that practiced with the team, that played against these guys in practice, he someone that should be kind of getting a little bit of burn in this series since he probably knows the team better than most because he was just there 5 months ago?
Normally, I'll be like, maybe he won't get that much. If this is Tibbs, he wouldn't get no burn.
No.
But knowing Cat the way we know Cat, he will catch those ticky-tack fouls, and we're going to need someone to play like 5-6 minutes into the quarter kind of action, and I think that's where he might get some playing time.
So I keep hearing this X factor of how Castle is going to D up Brunson, and it's going to affect Brunson's scoring, and I think that would have been a storyline in the X factor if we didn't see Brunson go through the same exact shit and kind of not have his shot, not score points, but facilitate everybody else. Is that really that big an X factor where people think that Brunson can't affect the game if he's not scoring points? So I think the Cleveland series kind of pointed that out, like, hey, he shot 5 of 16, but the team still won by 20.
Yeah, I think especially if they continue to run the offense through Cat, or maybe even let Shaman bring up the ball a little bit, they'll be fine. I don't buy into that hype anymore. I think Brunson is too savvy. The stakes are too high to get caught up in that. I think they're gonna add a little bit new wrinkle to this offense because, like we said, I think they've been clamoring on this offense before the playoff began. They executed it in game 4 against the Hawks. I think I'm pretty sure they had new tweaks to it when they had 9 days off.
So Bruce is saying that your prediction is bullshit.
5 games, man. 5 games.
So I'm going to say the Knicks, and obviously I said it before. I'm not going to root against the Knicks. I know we have to be analytical because we're journalists and do our shit, but the Knicks are in the fucking finals. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be that guy and kind of play it out. I think the Knicks wins the series in 6.
Listen, if Stephen A. and Skip could both agree that the Knicks will win, and Charles Barkley, a lot of pundits are favoring the Knicks. It's a little scary.
That doesn't make me feel better that Stephen A. and Skip said the Knicks, because that actually like the kiss of death. That's like Danhausen cursing us. I don't need that shit on my head. I don't need that right now.
I just don't see somebody outside of Wemby beating us.
I guess. I think you're right about the Bulls thing, because they got here and they got here real quick. And we talk about the 3-2-1 draft lottery. They were the recipients of 3 consecutive drafts, drafting high and getting really good players. Whereas if they're going into this new iteration of the draft lottery, they would not be anywhere near this shit. It's a young team. I talk about how Harrison Barnes is the grown-up. We talk about every draft. I feel like every trade deadline we talk about Memphis needing a grown-up in the room. And I feel like Harrison Barnes is that grown-up. But I do feel like De'Aaron Fox is not what De'Aaron Fox was Sacramento. They've kind of neutered him a little bit to be just a point guard and just distribute. Could he drop 30 if you need him to? Probably. But that's not his game anymore. I really don't think this team, young team, especially after what they just went through at OKC. I said it before. After that game, they looked exhausted.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me when the Yankees beat Boston that final time with what's his name hit the home run, and they were just flat in the World Series against Florida. I kind of sense that a little bit here. Kind of like, and that's kind of been like the Knicks' MO throughout the playoffs. Boston and Philly dogfight. Philly kind of, they look flat against the Knicks. Same thing with Cleveland. So I kind of see a threat, keep continuing here a little bit, especially the way they look so exhausted after Game 7.
especially when everybody was saying the Western Conference Finals was pretty much the de facto NBA final.
Yeah.
So you put that thought into a team's head, a young team, saying that we're playing this is the NBA Finals, right? This is the one that matters, and you got to blow your load in the Western Conference Finals. And you got this Knicks team that's been sitting there waiting to play because now the Knicks believe they could win. Because I don't think the Knicks really thought like, okay, we could. They're in the NBA Finals, and they're blowing the doors off people. Obviously, Spurs are a different level than Cleveland and Philly and Atlanta, but you blow out a few teams, you're like, we can blow you out too. So I feel like we're at a point where it's like you have a team that has been said, you get whoever wins the series is going to win championship against a team that like we're going to beat you now because we believe that we could beat you.
Who you give the coaching edge to? It's got to be Mike Brown, right?
I think Mike Brown's based on experience. You look at San Antonio's coach, only been coaching the team for 2 years. First year as a full-time coach. Last year was interim because of Pops' issues. Mike, and as a Knicks fan, we're used to our coaches not making adjustments. Like, I watched a clip when Channing Frye was talking about Larry Brown, and Larry Brown made crazy adjustments. So we go from Larry Brown just starting anybody to Tibbs just playing his guys at the ground, and now we have Mike Brown. Like, we have a bench. If that ain't working, we'll switch you here. If that ain't working, we'll switch you here. I really do think that Mike Brown's going to see something, and he saw something probably in those 3 games, 5, 6, and 7. They go, let's switch it up a little bit.
And then the Knicks will have the fresher legs. They only played 4 games in the last 2 weeks. I think they'll be fine.
So we're Knicks fans. like I said, we ain't gonna bullshit you and go ahead and be like, well, based on number, analytically, no. I'm rooting for my Knicks, and I have no qualm saying it. I know, Jason, you don't have any qualm saying it. This is the biggest moment of my life right now.
This would be a very different tone had it been OKC.
Yeah, I agree. I think OKC would have scared me more. Not that San Antonio doesn't scare me. I'm gonna get that clear. I want to put some bulletin board shit up. Not that they don't scare me, but I feel a little better about this matchup than I would have with OKC.
Agreed.
So you said 5. I'm saying Knicks in 6. And we're putting it down on paper, putting it on wax. It's over.
If by some freak chance it's a sweep, I don't know what.
Listen, I told my wife, if we're up 3-0 going into game 4, I'm going to drop whatever I'm doing. I'll meet up with you in Midtown.
That's it.
And we'll be out there. We'll be out in the streets ready to go.
It has to happen.
And then parade. I'm not going to talk about that. No, I feel like I'm touching the money. It's way too early for that. I'm not doing it yet. Our other topic that we got to talk about is the 3-2-1 lottery system. Jason Cordner, what do you know about said 3-2-1 draft lottery system?
It sounds so confusing. I just know playing teams have a better shot now than they did before of possibly winning or whatever, moving up. I do think we do need a reform lottery system, because I think we look at the Spurs. They only tanked for 4 years. Their process was only 4 years, and look where they're at compared to Philly, who did this for like 12.
Mm-hmm. And still doing it, apparently.
And still doing it. So I'm not really understanding the need for it, though.
I get the need for it. I think they could have picked a system that was a little less complicated. Like I'm lost on like how it works. So right. Here's the main ideas. Each team participating in the draft lottery received 3, 2, or 1 lottery balls for the drawing. Teams that do not qualify for NBA playoffs or NBA play-in tournament will receive 3 lottery balls to provide increased incentives to win. The teams with 3 worst records will be draft relegated and lose 1 of their lottery balls. The number 9 and number 10 play-in seeds in each conference will receive 2, while the losers of the number 7 versus number 8 play-in games will receive 1. Okay. Lottery balls allocated to all 60 teams will be drawn to determine the order of selection. Each draft-regulated team will receive at worst the number 12 pick in the NBA draft. All lottery teams can fall as far as 16. No team's pick will be permitted to be the first pick in 2 consecutive drafts or a top 5 pick in 3 consecutive drafts.
Wow.
These restrictions will apply only to each team's own pick without regard to whether the pick has been retained by the team or traded. Teams will be unable to attach top 12 to top 15 protections to newly traded draft picks, and then the league, blah, 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 will discipline, blah, blah, blah. Essentially, they're saying you cannot be a loser like Philly or Utah anymore. You have to try to win. And they're saying, hey, we're going to add everybody else to the mix to make it even more difficult for you to get that top pick. So a team that loses that 7-8 playing game can actually mathematically kind of get the number 1 overall pick, which is crazy.
You know, it's funny as you mentioned when you mentioned all of that. You know what I was thinking in my head? I was thinking, man, F them picks. Now these picks have more value if you trade them because now you're selling hope in a trade. So now someone like, let's say like Oklahoma got all those picks next year, and those teams that they got the picks from are bad. Oklahoma can really go to Milwaukee and be like, hey, not only can we take Giannis off your hands and give you these 5 picks, but we can almost guarantee you that at least 3 of these picks are going to hit. So your rebuild could be faster, not longer. So I think in that case, it makes it a little bit more intriguing because now you can sell hope in trades. But again, I still think the system is flawed.
Yeah, and I think it helps. I can't remember who said it on what I was watching or listening to. It helps those let's say mid-major teams in the NBA. So if you're that team that's just constantly in that like 8 to 15 draft pick spot where you're just like, this is purgatory. Like, we're not gonna get anybody. There's more like, hey, we could actually win this lottery and get a number 1 pick. So I feel like it gives, you said hope. This gives those teams hope where it's like, just because we finish in the middle of the pack in the regular season, we miss the playoffs, or we lose the 9-10 matchup in the play-in, we might actually still be able to get a top 3 pick out of this. So it helps those teams. A team like Milwaukee, once they lose Giannis, they're back to being mid-major. So it kind of gets other teams like, oh shit, Charlotte could actually get number 1 pick. Oh shit, what if by chance Chicago gets a high pick even though they were 2 games out of a playoff spot one year? So I think it just adds more intrigue to that draft lottery where it's like, okay, we know Utah, Washington, Brooklyn, I'm trying to think of another shitty team that I'm missing completely. Sacramento. It's the same 4 or 5 teams that's always in that mix to get the number 1 pick. Now you have 16 teams, and the possibilities are endless now.
I mean, it really is. It really is. But you look back at, I thought the NBA wanted to sell parity because I mean they're selling it right now. We're about to have our 8th different champion in the last 8 years. So are you saying that you don't want the Spurs, which is probably your next like dynasty in the making, you don't want that to happen again? Whereas they were able to get 3 guys in 3 consecutive drafts at a high pick.
But aren't you? That's parity because you're not going to allow teams, whether by hook or by crook, or whether it's by Golden State losing everybody one year. Golden State can say, fuck it, we'll just be bad for a couple of years and just lay it out and get 2 really high picks. So I feel like you are creating parity in a sense because you're eliminating what the Spurs did and saying that, okay, you got Wembanyama, cool. Okay, next year, okay, you got Castle. You're not doing anything in the 3rd year. You're nowhere close to Dylan Harper in the 3rd year. So I think it creates a little bit of parity. The way they're doing it is kind of convoluted.
Right.
And like me even reading it again, I still don't understand half the shit I read. I'm just reading it because I'm like, I have no understanding for what I'm reading. But I understand what they're trying to do. I just think there was an easier way to do it.
Right.
Than what they actually came up with. I think they try to make it overly complicated and try to be cute when there was an easier system to do than this.
Yeah. Just So you can't have top 5 picks back to back. And left out of that.
And I'm just like, all right, let's see. I want to see how this works. And they're saying, hey, it's gonna be more transparency. You're gonna actually see them pull the names out and pull the teams out. I'm like, okay, if that's the case, let's see it. But I don't want to see Utah get a number 1 pick 2 consecutive years or get a top 3 pick because then the system doesn't work.
All right.
And it only takes one to blow the whole system up. And I think that's what's happening.
It's gonna be the Pelicans. It's gonna be the Pelicans. Pelicans or Memphis. They're gonna suck, and then we're gonna be like, yeah, they got a top 5 pick again.
Mm-hmm. And then the regulated thing, like you only get 12. You get number 12 if you get first pick, and that's gonna start from shit. CBA is gonna be up in a couple of years, and that's gonna start. So we're looking at a whole big issue that's gonna happen. I think this next CBA of like what's gonna happen next, because this system's not gonna last long. I don't think it's gonna be like forever and ever.
Well, it's only 2 years, right? 2 years that they revisited on the 3rd year.
Yeah. And revisit it. I mean, you want the 3rd year to go through because you want to see what happens in that 3rd year and see if a team makes it into that 3rd. Like, okay, you're relegated now. So you kind of want to go 3 years to see if the system actually kind of works itself out. But I still don't know what the hell I read. WNBA news. We have a new first place team in the league, the Minnesota Lynx, 6-2. 4 wins in a row. The Liberty is currently 5-4.
A couple wins in a row.
Our resident Liberty beat writer, Jason Cordner. What are you seeing from this team right now?
They're coming over. It's slowly coming together. It's they had a good homestand. I think, like I said earlier, they're weathering the early storms. Sabrina's coming around. They'll be fine. It's still early in the season. But I must admit, I was a little surprised at the Lynx because I thought this might be a step back year. So maybe they're ready for the task at the throne in the Aces.
I ain't gonna say all that.
I said ready for the task.
I ain't gonna say that. But no, I will say that Tasha Howard has really contributed. Like, and I almost forgot she was still in the league because she used to with Liberty, and then she left, and then you kind of didn't hear a lot from her. And to imagine that they're doing all of this, Minnesota, without Nafisa Collier.
So you can only imagine when she gets back.
It's a scary concept to know that they're playing well with Olivia Miles, who I think Bruce talked about in his show how he thinks she's the rookie of the year, or at least in the running for it. My biggest gripe with her, seeing her on TV and then seeing her live in January, she handles the ball too much. She holds the ball too much. There's a lot of 8-9 second dribbles. There's a lot of too much dribbling, a lot of turnovers. I've not seen that from her this year. She has 3 turnovers a game, but she was averaging like 7 in college. So she kind of took that down. And her court vision got better. Like, she's gotten better with the court vision than when she was at TCU. So it's a scary concept to know that Courtney Williams, Natasha Howard, Olivia Miles lead this team, and their MVP caliber player is not even on the floor playing yet. So I think when she comes back, I think then we can kind of have the conversation when she gets back to 100%. Okay, how is she mixing everybody else? And then are the Aces their ultimate target?
We'll see. I do like what I'm seeing from now. Again, back to Indiana. I don't think them chicks like each other. Every time I watch the game, I don't think they like each other.
Well, here's the thing. I know they lost to Portland. Is Portland just better? Is Portland just is Portland a step better than Golden State was last year in the expansion year?
For some reason, they're more together than yes. I will say yes to that. I think their cohesive unit is more together and more locked in than Golden State was last year, which is scary because Golden State made the playoffs in their first year. So Portland's just out here kicking people's butt and just establishing themselves as a legit basketball destination out there. And
like they don't have a crazy great roster.
They don't got a it's a team full of, I don't want to say dogs, but they know their roles.
No, dogs. I think that's the perfect phrase. I think you got a team full of dogs who work hard. Bridget Carlson is the only player of like, I don't say any worth, but any name recognition.
Right.
But also Golden State last year had Kayla Thornton. That was really it. So maybe it takes one player on an expansion team to kind of get their shit together.
Pretty much.
So I don't know.
Team. Yeah.
Because I'm like, how did the Liberty lose to Portland twice and Indiana lose to them? And Portland's 6-4, which I'm like, and the expansion team 6-4 after 10 games is pretty impressive. I think they're just better than everybody.
They definitely think they're better than everybody.
Listen, and you look at the Toronto Tempo, they're 5-4. And I think you have a lot more personalities over there in Toronto. But I think we can really get a Portland, Toronto, Golden State playoff, trio. So you have two expansion teams and a second-year team in the playoffs. I can completely see this.
Is that how we're selling expansion now? First was the Vegas Knights, and now WNBA is like, when you bring a new team in the league, we can almost guarantee you're going to make the playoff or contend for a playoff spot off the rip.
Fires the white team to get rid of one of the black players. Well, I mean, listen, Portland. Listen, Portland went with the 8-up rough Kentucky 1950 style, and listen, no fault to them. Let's give it up to them.
Mm-hmm. It's working.
Yeah, and Bruce is right. It's early, but I think you got to look at it's 10 games in. 10 games is a lot.
That's a good sample size, yeah.
Yeah, if it was like 2, 3, I know like we kind of like me personally was a little sketchy with Portland early, and they beat the Liberty twice. I'm like, well, Liberty is shorthanded, but you're a 6 out of 10 expansion team is not. I can't say it's early. Like they're gonna hit walls, they're gonna hit road trip, obviously. But what I'm seeing from them is probably the most impressive expansion outlook since maybe the Golden Knights when they came to the NHL.
Pretty much, yeah.
So I really can't talk too much shit about them. Our continuing story, the sunset season of the Connecticut Sun, 2-8, 1-5 on the road. They're 1-3 at home. They're getting good crowds in Connecticut, considering that they're leaving. I'm going to get a graphic up and just keep track of.
I mean, they only get a good crowds because the Huskies are not playing right now.
I'm creating a graphic that will keep track of their losses and see if they can beat the record this year. That's the only reason I give a shit about the Connecticut Sun this year. I really think they can beat the record this year. So I'm completely on board. Let's go Connecticut. End your reign in Connecticut with the most losses in WNBA history. I'm hoping for it.
Has it officially been announced that they're going to be called the Houston Comets when they get down?
No, they actually haven't announced anything about it. They should be. I don't know what the hell they're going to be called. Let's see, Houston.
Better question for you: when it comes to the annals of sports, has any other state lost more professional teams than Connecticut?
Sidebar: they will be called the Comets.
Okay, they will be called the Comets,
and they will be playing at Toyota Center with Houston. The Sun, the Bridgeport Tigers, the Islanders AAA team. They're moving to Ontario. They're moving out this year. That's two. The Whalers. Bruce said Oakland. I think Oakland's got them beat.
But I feel like Connecticut was first.
No, because Connecticut lost. They lost the NHL team. They lost the WNBA team. They lost the AHL team, which aren't big sports.
To some degree, they lost WWE.
Kind of. Yeah, they don't care about them no more. Oakland lost the A's, the Raiders twice. Golden State. That whole arena stadium setup is just barren. I think they lost something else to Oakland.
Randomly wondered if the Golden State move had anything to do with the Nets leaving New Jersey.
I can see it. I can see them going like, well, yeah, we could move to San Francisco. and see the Nets. They moved from New York, from New Jersey to Brooklyn, making a lot more money probably, but also no one gives a shit about the Nets. And in San Francisco, who do you really give a shit about? The Giants, the 49ers? Like, there's not a lot of options there.
I was explaining to someone at work, I was like, the Nets will never overtake the Knicks in New York. They had a slim window open shot, but Kevin Durant's toe was on that line. And even then, a championship would have felt it wouldn't eclipse this.
That big ass toe. That big ass toe. Just messing it up.
They wouldn't have been tens of thousands of screaming fans in front of Barkley. That's just not how the Nets roll.
No, I mean, do you ever think the Nets? They're never going to go past the Knicks. I think we can kind of state that now, equivocally. They're never going to go there. But do you think there's a universe where the Nets could ever muster an improved enthusiasm? I think that's the best way I can put it. Because right now, there's nothing going on with them. Can they ever get to that point where teams actually give fans can ever give a shit about the Nets?
This definitely sounds like an article that needs to be written. I feel like they need to change logos. They need to go back to embrace their jersey roots. Yeah, it's got to be a combination of that. But I don't think they're ever, because the young fans growing up, there's no. They're attached to the Jets and our Mets. I think they're attached to that.
Should they just move back to Jersey?
I think so, but they'll never admit it.
Because I'm at the point where I'm like, the Brooklyn move ain't work out. No one gives a shit. Barclays is kind of like there with his rusted roof. I'm still trying to figure out the design of that arena too, by the way. Like at some point, someone's gonna go, all right, we should probably change it up. Like, should we just say, hey, let's get it out. Let's go back to home. Player Prudential. Can you renovate Izod or whatever? I don't think it has a name now. I think it's just called Meadowlands Arena. And just say, take the L. That we tried, didn't work. We're going back home.
They'll never do that. But they should play a couple of games out in Jersey just to,
I would think no, they can't do that. They'll never do that. Those owners would be like, Joseph Tsai would never be like, we'll have a couple games in Jersey, have them sell out, and then come back to Brooklyn and have no one here. That doesn't happen.
Not gonna happen, man.
I will love it. Other news today: Golden State Warriors star Steph Curry has signed a 10-year endorsement contract with Chinese company Li Ning, who will be his new sneaker home after a very uneventful tenure at Under Armour. Jimmy Butler is also at Li Ning.
Oh, wow, okay.
Will anyone give a shit about Li Ning sneakers in the United States?
Absolutely not. He was better off signing a deal with Hookah, but they don't Hookah to make basketball sneakers.
They don't.
I don't think so. I think it's only running. Yeah.
I'm of the mind where do we really care about sneaker deals now? Because I feel like
no.
Back in the day, it was like, oh, who's with who signed with who, and I feel like now I forgot he was still on Under Armour. Steph. Li Ning, I'm pretty sure Marbury was rocking him hard when he was over there, and I think that's who produced the Starberries when he went back over there. But I feel like Under Armour doesn't really make nice shoes. I feel like Nike doesn't really make nice shoes. Adidas has a couple that I like, but nothing really great. Are we missing something with the sneakers, or is it just like just go get some Jordans to call it a day?
I just think we're missing something, and we're so far removed from Jordan playing. So like when you see these guys play with their sneakers, it doesn't really seem appealing. I heard the Wemby's look good. I guess we won't, won't really get a good look until the finals to see how they look. But sneaker culture is just not what it used to be anyway.
Bruce said, "I think Jordan's made other shoe brands irrelevant." I think there were years when there were better sneakers out.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of like Jordan was here, and those sneakers are like inching up. Yeah, and I think it just dropped off. Now I think people are just buying old Jordans now. I think we're at that point where we're buying the old version of Jordans and going with that. I'm gonna rock those instead. But once Jordan, I still haven't seen that Jordan Nike movie yet, and I know I'm years behind that right now.
Oh no, that was good. That was good.
But since that day, I'm like, that was when the culture changed sneaker wise, and this is what we are.
We, like you said, we did have some contenders, man. Those penny foam posits.
Listen, I think in the 90s there was a lot more competition. And I feel like, no, I'm not going to lie. Those black and white Shaqs, I love them shits.
I actually love the Iversons, the Answers.
Oh, the Answers were oh my God, the Answers were so nice. And that was Reebok.
Those
were nice. Oh, I think about Kobe has some good ones, which was Nike, but it wasn't Jordan. But Kobe has some nice ones. Steph never had nice ones ever. Steph never had good
ever.
I think Kyrie. I think Kyrie had a good pair.
I did like the KD Aunt and Pearls, that the ones he would do for in memory of his aunt. I did like those, but that's it.
Yeah, really, that's really it. Wow, damn. I gotta go sneaker shopping and just look around. Just take some pictures and put this shit up. Like, he ain't shit out here.
Ain't nothing going on out here.
Our last topic tonight, we got to talk about Clash in Italy. The event wasn't bad.
However, you know what? I am a fan of early pay-per-views. I like my 2-3 o'clock. I have the rest of my day.
Coming from the man that stayed up till 12:30 watching AEW with my boys. My boys like, I have my 3 friends over. 2 don't watch. 1 doesn't watch wrestling. 1 kind of watches on and off. And my best friend, we became friends based on ECW. Watching ECW at 2 in the morning in 1997. They left before MJF's match. They were like, we can't do this shit no more. We're done. My boy stayed.
AEW got to work on that. They got to work on that. They're too long.
But you know what it is? I told my buddy, I'm like, I'm spoiled because I'm used to not just overly long pay-per-views, which I hate. I can't stand it. But also, their pay-per-views the quality is always high. Whereas I feel like Clash in Italy, while it was a good show, I don't think there was anything earth-shattering, groundbreaking. Even though Triple H hyped it up like it was going to be the next foundation, because he says this shit every PLE. Triple H says this is going to be a big show. It's gonna shake the foundation. I'm like, nothing about that show last night or yesterday afternoon shook the foundation of anything. It felt like a Raw at points. It was a good show, but not for what Triple H was hyping it up for. And Dave Meltzer even said, Dave Meltzer's like, it was a good show if it was for Triple H hyping it up to the point he hyped it up to. And it's like, no, but so what you offered, you didn't give to us, so now it's a thumbs down. I'm like, he has a valid point.
This is what he has to sell. He has to sell the product.
You sell, and I always knew the Brock retirement was bullshit. I knew he's going to end it in Minnesota. I didn't think it would be this quick. I thought he would come back in Minnesota and lose in Minnesota and be like, I can't beat you, pass the torch, blah, blah, blah. Did they really have to make it a trilogy and make it 3 parts and get the Brock win back? Why couldn't Brock lose to him three times? Why couldn't he be like, I can't beat you, I'm out?
Because man, that's how Brock and they work. They was like, we got to make it 1-1 and sell the last match as a end all be all.
Well, I sent the text in my a friend group chat, and my one buddy did not like it. I put, who's more harmful to black people, Donald Trump or Brock Lesnar? Because Brock has a history. Brock has history of the shit.
I'm gonna say Brock because him and Shelton grew up together, and they, that's his boy.
Yeah, but Brock has a history of beating up black dudes very quickly, like Kofi back in the day. I remember that. That's still fresh in my head. That beatdown he had. I'm not watching Raw. I saw clips. Jacob acknowledged.
And another thing, I love these early Raws. While I'm at work, I'll just watch Twitter clips. So I don't got to sit through a 2.5-hour show
with commercials.
With commercials,
tons and tons of commercials. Although they're trying to get better with the commercials for the PLEs, but there's still a lot of fucking commercials.
Too much.
I get it. But AEW, no commercials. So they got them beat right there too. Just put it out there. Just saying. Jason's always a great show.
Likewise.
So on Wednesday, we will go live starting on Wednesday. Go live after every NBA Finals game. Starts on Wednesday. It's an 8:30 tip. So we should be on about 11,
About 11 yep.
15-ish. So we'll probably hop on 10, 15 minutes after the game's over. We'll give you a brief little synopsis, let you go back and watch Inside the NBA and listen to Alan Hahn Brawl V8 for an hour on MSG if you want to do that too locally. So the Box Out live after every Finals game starting this Wednesday right after game 1. Hopefully it's a victory for the Knicks. If not, we will be pissed off and it'll be a very entertaining show. I have not bought that bottle of champagne yet. I'm going to buy it tomorrow.
I haven't bought the champagne. I haven't bought a Knicks hat yet. I do have my Knicks pendant that I will pull out on Wednesday. I had to save from when I went to New Orleans. When, a matter of fact, I bought it right before Carmelo dropped like 50, or I think it was 50 against the Hornets.
Bobcats.
The
Bobcats.
Yeah. So I went to that game. I'm gonna rock it on Wednesday, but I'm looking forward to game 1. Looking forward to it.
Actually, I only have a Knicks polo because the jersey I had that I rocked very proudly when we first started this podcast, my Kevin Knox jersey, is in the trash. I got rid of that shit real quick.
You know what? I'm not even mad about that draft pick because we're here now.
Bruce, don't start. Bruce is gonna hate on this team until you win a championship. Bruce is gonna hate, and I'm okay with it. It's what Bruce does. I'm just saying. Carmelo in the final. All right, we're gonna go now. For Jason, I'm Kahlil. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you Wednesday night after game 1 right here on One Podcast Network. Peace.
Peace.
This has been The Box Out with Kahlil Thomas and Jason Kortner. Subscribe now for the best tri-state area basketball talk.